You're muted.
Oh my goodness! All right, y'all. We're starting off strong. Welcome to the PHNX Mercury Show, brought to you, as always, by DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. It is a dream team, as usual. We have Aaliyah, we have Mallory, and me joining, as always, Corban. Ladies, how are we doing tonight?
Can't complain, it's nice out. Mallory's in, Denver right now, being a big show, representing for PHNX and women's sports, killing it.
Yeah, I'm here in Denver for the Women in Sports Media Conference that starts tomorrow, so that's exciting. But yeah, ready to talk some Mercury basketball.
Definitely. I'm about to say, honestly, Isaiah, welcome. Love to see y'all crew coming in here. Before we even start with that, because, it's been a minute, and, the Mercury in the week since I boldly proclaimed that they're going to go 4-0 have not gone 4-0. We'll get into that so far. But, how's the week been so far? How's the vibe within the Mercury crew? I don't think we ask enough about each other. You know what I mean? Like, for example, I found this really good corn dog place recently. It's like a Soul, SOEL. Yeah, it's called Two Hands. And it's really good. And I've never had it before today. And it was really cool. I had the ranch sauce one that was half cheddar cheese, half mozzarella, and half sausage. It was really good. But my week was going good when I wasn't watching Mercury games. So that's my week in a wrap. Now I'm gonna throw it over to Leah. Work our way down Mallory. I want to get everyone's take here.
Yeah, good. Just working all the time. That's all I do. My dog's currently snoring behind the camera, so I really hope you can't hear him. But yeah, no, I've been to that Two Hands place, and they were pretty good. I'd always want to try the Korean corn dogs. They're all over TikTok, but yeah, I thought they were good. I don't know. Yeah. Have you tried them, Mallory?
I have not. I'm such a picky eater that when I find my places, I stick to them. Yeah. So I'm not very good at trying new places.
No, I get that. That's me too, Mallory. I'm not gonna lie. The only reason why I went over there today is because I haven't eaten all day, and it was boom right there. But my favorite restaurant in the world is called Pie Express. It used to be right there, and they closed down. And so that place took over. And at first I was I'm not going there. My place was still there. But then I decided to poke my head in. It was good. Yeah, I don't have TikTok, so I'm not familiar with the TikTok culture, but I imagine that the corn dogs are going big over there.
What do you do, all the day?
Twitter's my vice.
I spend a significant amount of my time, my life, on TikTok. It's kind of embarrassing.
Only TikTok I had to subscribe to is the song by Kesha. Know all the words. That's my go-to karaoke song. Oh. Anyway.
Wow, you're using that little falsetto really well. I don't know, you pulled that out of your pocket.
5th grade chorus. I still keep it handy every once in a while. Okay. Are we ready for the Mercury now? We all primed and ready to go. Okay. Whew. Well, with that being said, 4-0 is 0-2 real quick. The Mercury have had a pair of dispiriting losses, one to the New York Liberty. In fact, I think Aaliyah described it perfectly on her Twitter, which saying, on her bingo card was not a 20-point loss to the Liberty. I agree with that to a T. Follow that up with just as dispiriting loss to the Connecticut Sun, where the Mercury managed just 63 points, looked just horribly disjointed. The offense was anemic. It was a mess there. Right now, we all watch the games, obviously all avid fans. We've been here before kind of describing the ills that, or the woes that the Mercury have experienced. What do each of you think right now is the issue for this current slide? Because we really thought that there was momentum being built up. The Mercury getting it right in terms of their offense. We were rebounding just enough. Defensively, they were swarming. Sophie Cunningham was amazing. She's still been playing well. But all of a sudden, we have these two losses.
I think I've been saying it since the beginning. I think our starting five are tired. They've been the starting five and playing the majority of games since the very first game this season. And Diana's no spring chicken. Skylar's getting up there. Like they're not. They shouldn't have to carry an entire team all 40 minutes for an entire season. And so I know that that game against New York, there was no one on the bench scored that entire game. I don't think they saw a lot of minutes, but still there was absolutely no offensive impact coming off of the bench. And so that leaves 100% on the starters. And clearly Diamond's been out. Sophie was out for a little bit with her elbow. Like these aren't exactly starters that have been completely healthy and are at 100% anyway. So I think they're tired. I think they just don't have it in. We already don't really play well on the road. And so I just think a mix of it's late in the season. The same five people are playing the whole game. They're tired. Like New York's not even that great of a team, not to throw any shade, but I just feel like that was it. We just looked exhausted out there.
Yeah, I think, I've been saying like closing out games had been our problem, but these past two games were pretty much almost like 15 to 20 point losses. So it's not even closing out the game because we, kind of lost track of it and got out of reach. So I think just, staying in the game, not letting the other team go on runs will be important with these last 5 games coming up.
I agree. I think both of you guys excellent points. It has been a mixture of the team looking gassed and also, it's hard to get back into a game and expend the necessary energy for that when you're already going down such a big hole to begin with, And we've already seen that Taurasi made news recently, like the first WNBA player to score 30 or more over age 40. Like you're relying a lot of your offense production on her, as well as Skylar Diggins-Smith, who has been amazing all year. But, as Aaliyah said, although a little bit younger, then Taurasi just celebrated her 32nd birthday yesterday. Like, is also like no relative spring chicken in terms of, probably just in the tail end of your prime and, in athlete speak there, like it's a lot. And you got to take into account that like every night, like she's averaging like 21 points per game, 22. And like the Mercury need every one of those points and Taurasi to shoot, somewhat efficiently. And can we get anything from Diamond to shield? Oh, wait, she hasn't been, playing recently. It has been rough. Can Shea Petty give us something? Obviously, Sophie Cunningham has been great. But yeah, I agree with you. Like it's kind of a slog, I think, in terms of the team collectively, reaching a point of, we really don't have a lot in the tank. And I've been a defender of Coach Nygaard, I think, relative to y'all up to this point. But I have to ask, Aaliyah brought up an amazing point. It's true. Like, the bench didn't score. Yes, they barely played. And, like, that brings it to the question of, like, the chicken or the egg. Is it on Coach Nygaard that the bench isn't playing enough to spell the starters? Or is it that the bench is so, don't want to come off too harsh, but let's say offensively incapable, that Coach Nygaard feels she has no choice. Mally's already given her answer. Coach Nygaard feels she has no choice but to play the starters more. I throw that back to you. Let's start with Mally on this one because I think your answer's ready to pop out here.
Well, I don't think we can properly assess the bench players if they don't have any time on the court. I mean, like Sam Thomas, Megan, like they're all getting like 2.2 minutes a game. So how can we know whether to trust them on the court and give our starters a rest if you don't know what they're capable of and, leaving them on the court for longer than 2 minutes? It's just frustrating and a coaching flaw again.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I think at this point in the season that it's kind of the better of two evils, because even if you throw in those like rookies or newer players, they're not going to be at a point where they have time to develop and they have time to adjust to being at a new level of basketball and that kind of stuff. So even if we throw them in now and start giving them minutes, it's not going to look pretty because they haven't been out there all season. So at this point, it's both. It's Nygaard's lack of putting those bench players in, and then now those bench players aren't going to be able to perform to the best of their ability because they haven't been played this whole season. So I guess at the end of the day, it goes back to coaching all around. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I know that game against Connecticut, like obviously de-straining her right quad is going to hurt us. She's listed as questionable for tomorrow's follow-up game against Connecticut. Brianna Turner played 34 minutes and didn't score at all. Like, our starters are just not in, like, they're not at the level that they have been this whole season. Like Sophie and Sky only scoring 15 apiece, which isn't bad, but it's not what they've been doing and not enough to carry the entire team to a win, especially against a team like Connecticut. Like, thankfully, we had some scoring action from the bench. Kayla Davis scoring 10 points, and then Sims and Gustafson both giving us 7. So that's something, but it's still not the level that we would expect from our bench, or like just reliability from our bench that we need this late in the game when you're making a playoff push.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think, I mean, both of you gave excellent points. I was looking at just the shooting numbers over the last couple of games, and it led me to like kind of dive a little deeper in terms of, hey, the Mercury, we know they're a 3-point shooting team. They've won just 3 games out of their 31 shooting below 30% from 3. Like, if they're not shooting at a above average clip from 3, like, they are doomed to fail. And so you look at what they shot, you know, the last 2 wins they had, 45% from Seattle when they rained in, they knocked down 14 threes, right? 36% against the Sparks, where, you know, 9-25. That dropped to 24% against the Liberty, 6-25, and then 22% against the Sun, 6-27. They're still getting up the same rate of threes, but like you said, legs are flat. Obviously, DT's injury is going to take a load of those threes off the table entirely. You're not getting any offensive contribution from Brianna Turner. Not that she even plays from the outside anyway. Definitely more inside oriented. But if a steady diet of your offensive attack is from the outside and you're not clipping, you know, it's live with a 3, die by the 3. And that's exactly kind of what the Mercury have also had as well. Because I was trying to find the common on them. Like, they've been rebounded. You know, their defense hasn't been great, but they've still been scrapping together wins. But listen, that 3 ball, that great equalizer, if it's not going down, that's true. And that's why I do wonder, like both of y'all said, like, okay, can we open up the bench a little bit more? Like, even if it's just for rebounding sake, defense sake, like, we don't have 5 offensive players on the court at any one time anyway. So you're not telling me that these are professional athletes in one of the hardest leagues there are to be on a roster. They can't give you anything. I don't know. And like I said, I'm not a Nygaard hater. We have enough of that here. But I just like don't understand the logic behind doing that. It is frustrating. And it's like, if you don't trust them now, this is game 31. We're about to be in game 32. You know, playoffs are a few short weeks away. The Mercury are fighting for that. When are you going to trust them? I just don't see it. I don't know. But I guess if we can, let's try to end this on a positive note, just this segment here. What have we liked out of this Mercury teams the last 2 games? Is there anything? Okay, and there's our answer.
You know, the pregame fits have been fire.
I gotta love it.
Looks great walking in on that pregame fit cam. No, I mean, you know, defense has improved since the beginning of the season. I can give them that, but they've been pretty solid, like, defensively. I am not mad at the numbers from the bench on the Connecticut game. I think I would just like to see that, like, more consistently throughout. Like, it's like an ebb and flow. It's like, okay, 2 starters are going to score absolutely nothing, but then 3 bench players are going to score almost 10 points each. It's like, okay, can we both do something well? Like, you know, can the starters still perform to the best of their abilities and the bench come out? Like, I'm glad the bench is seeing a little bit more numbers, and like, we're getting, especially against, like I said, a team like Connecticut who's up there. It's not, you know, New York or the Lynx or someone that's technically under us right now. So, yeah, that was good, I guess.
I think that one of the positives over these past 2 games is just the consistency that we've seen from Sophie Cunningham and her shooting. That's going to be big heading into the playoffs if the Mercury do secure a spot. Sophie Cunningham was huge in the playoffs last year for the Mercury in those, you know, winner go home games. Her 3-point shots were instrumental in that. So for her to start getting back into that right before the playoffs is really good to see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think the one I guess positive I'll add is just rebounding. It's been a much maligned issue for the Mercury. They had a lot of chances to rebound against the Sun. Shot 33% for the field, 22% for three, 68% on the free throw line. Point being, they had their second most rebounds they've had over this last 6-game stretch. So, we're going really in the weeds here, but hey, 33 is closer to 40, and okay, I was going to ask a question here, but 44 is the most rebounds that the Mercury have secured in a game this season. So only being 12 off, yes, isn't a loss, but at least, they're getting out there and gang rebounding. I don't know. It was hard to find positives, and it's going to make it even more fun when we do our PHNX player and the hustle player of the week. So we'll get to that later. Burying the lead is not nice, y'all. But before we do that, I got to share as usual, DraftKings Sportsbook. It's here. Listen, it's not the best time to talk about wins in DraftKings and the Mercury altogether, but there was not going to be a better time to do it. So I figured, let's go. I said 4-0. If y'all listened to me last week and bet money on that, I'm sorry. And also, I'm not a draft expert. I just found out betting this year. So that's on y'all. But if y'all want to get on this, think you guys can do better than the self-proclaimed expert who's not an expert, turn your team's victory into your own big win with DraftKings Sportsbook by betting just $5 on any team to win. At this point, they play the Sun again tomorrow. We saw how they played this past week. If we think this Connecticut Sun, I'm not saying to bet for the Sun. I'm just saying bet for who you think the winning team will be, okay? And if you do that, you will. It's possible to get $200. Or it's not possible. You will get $200 back in free bets if they do win. So really pretty simple. Find the winning team, all right? Just whichever team you think is going to win, find that team, and it's going to happen. My experience this whole year with betting has been interesting. I've done just little minor prop bets with my little brother, I'll make this in the trash can, or, this will go in. Little stuff, money. I got rent to pay. I don't really have that kind of money to go in there and, throw stuff around like that, like to eat. I got to do these things. We create comfort. So, I don't play with my money like that. It's easy to be 4-0 when there's nothing in the game. But if I had to put money into it, I don't know. That's all I'm saying. But with DraftKings Sportsbook, it's easy to do so if you want to put your money where your mouth is. I'm good on that front right now. You can also take those same game parlays, make that a thing. That basically means you can buy multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. Skylar Diggins-Smith been on a hot streak. Breonna Turner's been a good rebounder all season. Team bereft of that. Breonna Turner's going to grab 6 rebounds. Skylar Diggins-Smith shoot over 50% from the field, wherever the case may be. Both of those being legs, bigger parlay, bigger payout. So you combine those, the more legs you add, the more money you win. Pretty simple. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. So again, we're not feeling great about that bet we made earlier. It's okay. Walk it back, No, see no evil. It's all good. So definitely make sure to go on DraftKings Sportsbook. Take advantage of the great opportunity. Playoffs are coming in pretty soon, so definitely want to get that practice in. Try it out. Super simple. I've seen it. The layout's pretty nice. So download that app right now. Use the promo code PHNX. Bet just $5. Any WNBA team to win. Yes, we support the Mercury all the way, but any WNBA team to win, get $200 in free bets if they do. If they win, you win with the promo code PHNX this week at DraftKings Sportsbook. Real quick, 21 and older, Arizona only. Gambling problem, the 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. I was too busy trying to juggle through hoops of supporting the Mercury, but feeling really bad after putting out. I can't keep putting out these fiery 4-0 takes out there, and the Mercury do this to me, and then I'm expected to be ride that wave. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I'm last time, I think I said, I was we're going to win. We're going to lose this first. I did say we were going to win New York, but we didn't. So
you did.
Who can... Well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Shout out Sandy Brondello. We miss you. And
wow.
I said we were going to lose the first Connecticut game. So maybe we have redemption tomorrow. I don't know, though. I wasn't expecting D to be questionable. We do have Diamond DeShields back, though. That's always a positive. I'm hoping she comes back with a bang, can help us make this final push.
Yeah. Listen, at this point, I guess that's where my next question for y'all is. You look at where the Mercury reside in the standings. They're a game over both the Sparks and the Lynx, either in the win or loss column. With the Mercury at 13-18, Sparks are 12-18, Lynx are 12-19. So I guess, yeah, one game in the win column over the Sparks, one game in the loss over the Lynx. and that's just in the West. Obviously, the Dream and Liberty are right up there as well in that 12 and 18, 13, 18 range. Playoffs are, coming very soon. As it is right now, we're going to check in every week. What are the odds, in your opinion, that the Mercury make the playoffs? For context, before these 2-game losing streak, I think ESPN had it at 76% that the Mercury would make that. I mean, obviously, 2 losses, that only has to drop, I'd imagine. But where do y'all feel on that? Are the Mercury going to make their 10th straight postseason appearance? As of right now, Aaliyah, go.
I think so. I think once we get back on this little like home game streak to end out the season, I think we just play better at home. Hopefully by then Diana's rehabbed. I kind of want her to sit this next game so that she doesn't like strain herself too hard before against like, I mean, we're not going to beat Connecticut. I just don't think it's going to happen. So I think it's safe to sit her, get Diamond back out there, get her legs working, see how she's playing, and then just make sure like target this last little home game streak and get in there. I think we might be in there right at the bottom, and I'm not saying that we're going to stay very long, but I think we can make it. That's all I'm going to say. Do I think that we're going to go all the way and win those like win or go home games? I don't know about all that, but I think that we could sneak in there at the end.
Okay. I like it. Mallory?
I agree with Aaliyah. I think the Mercury find a way into the playoffs. Maybe win the first game, but that's it. But I think it will be, good. Just it will be a success to have even made the postseason with how the season has gone.
I agree. As of right now, I think it's safe to say if they do, it's going to be under the leadership of Coach Nygaard. Okay, just kidding. I think that the Mercury have a decent shot at it. I mean, listen, I don't want to like knock on Coach Nygaard all show long. Like I do think they have taken some of her personality. For one, I don't remember them ever complaining with the refs as much. Like Dana has always done that, and like yes, Skylar Diggins-Smith has also not been afraid to voice her opinion. But it feels like every other game, like man, oh man, But they've taken some of that fieriness in another direction. I do want to say I think that Nygaard has left her imprint of being a more vocal, more fiery kind of team. Also, with some of the personnel you have. This is my own personal opinion. I mean, you have Diamonds in there. You have Sophie always. They're rallying around their coach in that respect, I think.
Yeah, I think you could also say that maybe they're getting some of that vibe from Diana, since she might be the one doing a little bit more coaching. But who's to say? I don't know. I'm not down there on the bench, so.
I mean, listen, if that's the case, then we should be blaming Diana for not playing the bench. No, I'm playing. No, I get you. And maybe it is. It's so, I mean, at the end, as we get down to the end of the season, like looking back and reflecting on this year, because in real time, it's hard to do it. But like, okay, really analyzing, like right now, we've been calling for a coaching reevaluation all season long, right? And we've also been looking at the bench all season long. And like, as the weeks go on, it's like, wow, we really have been having the same talking points because nothing has changed. And so at that point, yes, something lies there. But I'm trying to find the positive in this season too. And it's like, well, like you both said, like they have overcome adversity because the Mercury have had a season just full of it, or they've been actively overcoming adversity. But at the end of the day, yeah, you're right. Like, I don't know. It's hard to not put any of this at the person upstairs. That's all I'm saying. Or the person roaming the sideline. So yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. But okay, looking from that, we have to. I don't have. I'm gonna do mine first because last week I let Aaliyah go first. Then she called me. I was copping out for copying her answer. So PHNX player and the player of the week and
Hustle player?
Yeah. I'm giving both to the X Factor. Thank you, Mallory. X Factor, take both. Listen, we still support them. We still watch these games.
This is more pop out than last week.
No, it's not. No, it's not. We watch these games. We support the team. We're there. Okay, these games. I'm just, from my own personal opinion, have not been pretty watches. Okay, it's not a pretty watch. It's not. Okay, it's been actively horrible from after the first quarter, and yet we still stand. Okay, we still tune in, and that's why I think we deserve a pat on the back because we hustle to watch these games, and we are the player of the week. Yeah, I'm fizzling. Anyone else have? And it's hard. We lose by 20 plus points back to back. There's very little to find. Like, yeah. So I'm giving it to us. I'm giving it to the people. I'm the people's champion today.
Wow, Corban for president, right there. My pick. So for player of the week, I had Skylar Diggins. Duh. Hustle player of the week. First of all, I heard that. Second of all, what have you did like?
Skylar Diggins-Smith. Exactly. That's why I went bold.
For Hustle player of the week, I gave it to Sophie because I think they're just the two main players on. Like they're the only ones making plays happen. I think Diana's been amazing and been trying, but she's just not super consistent and like has really, really, really amazing games where she's scoring over 30 or whatever, but then like has super low lows and like clearly is now, questionable. Aya's picks for player of the week, she has Sophie Cunningham for stepping up, and Hustle player of the week, she gave to Shea Petty. And then honorable mention to both Diana and Skylar Diggins-Smith because, duh.
And for player of the week, I have Skylar Diggins-Smith. I feel like I've had her as my player of the week probably 90% of the time. And Hustle player of the week would be Sophie Cunningham for all of the reasons I said earlier, just like her consistency from shooting, the three. So.
There it is. I like it. Not necessarily bold choices outside of myself, but that's fine. There's another week I'm playing. I'm just kidding. It's been, honestly, that's how I feel like productive it's been, that you can kind of put a pin on like the same three players to show up, which maybe that'll change in upcoming weeks if the Mercury are really gonna, pull out a rabbit out their hat and make a just tremendous run to the WNBA finals. Not out of the question. It's never out of the question until they're eliminated. That's my motto on that.
Sure.
Core mentality back at it, But looking to the future here, we do have 2 more games to be played, at least in this next show cycle here. We have the Connecticut Sun tomorrow at 7, and then a rematch with the Liberty Saturday. And then, is that right? Oh, Eastern time. It's a Saturday at 10. I'm like, 10 o'clock. Okay. And then the Lynx on Wednesday. So 2 teams that seem relatively beatable, I think we all agree with. One team that I'm not going to say we're going to lose, but I'm not going to say we're going to win in Connecticut. So looking at that, how do each of you kind of project the future here for the Mercury over these next 3 games? Again, with Diamond and Shields coming back, with DT, probably out of tomorrow's game, maybe out another game, who knows? What are your outlook on that? I'm going to concede to experts. I've been going off lately.
I think for this Connecticut game, I don't know, because it reminds me a lot of like the little double Mystics moment we had earlier in the season where we lost that first one, but then they kind of came out of nowhere and won the second one. I hope that's correct, because now that I think about it, I think it might have been opposite. But anyway, but again, obviously without Diana at 100%, that's questionable. Having Diamond back though is good. My only thought with that though is like before she was hurt, she wasn't really putting up huge numbers, kind of like she was at the beginning of the season. So I'm hoping that she's just in the, she's back 100 and isn't like trying to just come back and still nurse an injury. But I don't think we're going to fare amazing against the Sun. Obviously, hopefully, I hope they prove me wrong and that they just come out and have like another game like they did against the Storm, and just kill it in the fourth quarter with all the threes. And then New York, I don't know. Like that last game was so ugly that I hope that we can clear. Maybe we need to like sage the arena, prevent all those negative vibes from coming back. And I think that's a very beatable team. I think we have the capability if we can just come in with a clear head, more motivation, a little bit more coordination offensively. I don't think they're hard to beat. I think if we can lock down our defense and kind of chop up their offensive momentum, that's going to be a secure win. And the Lynx the same. I think they're also a very beatable team. Are they at home? I don't remember. I think we're back home for that game.
Yeah, I think so as well. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that last like home drive is going to be all the push that they need. X Factor is obviously best fans in the league. So just that's going to be the extra push that the squad needs. And maybe if we can get some more minutes from our bench, shout out Nygaard, then that will help as well. Give those veterans a little rest.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, Mallory.
No, you're good. I was going to say my predictions are that the Mercury are going to go 1-2, winning the game against Minnesota and losing against Connecticut and New York. Just seeing how the previous matchups with those teams have gone. I know the Mercury did beat New York earlier on in the season, but just like you were saying, Aaliyah, that last game wasn't too pretty. But I know that the Mercury have it in them to beat Minnesota for sure.
I like that. That's a great take. I was gonna say it's so fun. We get really good takes on the show, and we also get some members of the show who just casually call our fans the best fans in the NBA, yet scoff when I nominate them as the Player and Hustle Player of the Week award, as if I'm doing something wrong. I mean, are they the best fans in the NBA or are they not? They're the best fans in the W or not? Because they are. What's wrong with showing them some love? I'm not trying to call anybody out. I'm not trying to go directly at anybody.
Okay.
I just think they need to look in the mirror. Okay, if they're gonna talk about the X Factor. But that's it. I mean, they also, need to rethink their rap music. But that's another thing, another story for another time. It's been a minute. I'm sorry. Listen, we're kind of winding down here to the finish. I have a funny question. I just found this out 2 days ago, and it was weird because I was thinking about this. We've been talking about rebounding, right? Tina Charles officially, over the 16 games she played, leads the Mercury in rebounding with 7 boards a game, right? Officially, as we both know, it's Brianna Turner who does with just under 7. Who is second? I want to know if either of y'all know who is second on the Mercury list in rebounding. It's not pretty, but I'm just curious if either of y'all
in rebounding.
Rebounds per game for the Phoenix Mercury, right behind Brianna Turner, who is our second best rebounder.
I don't know, Sophie.
Okay, Mallory.
Skylar.
That's a good one.
Okay, what's funny? You both are co-winners. See, everyone's a winner in the PHNX Mercury show. No, they're very close. It's actually Sophie with 4.4 rebounds per game, but Skylar is 4.2.
Ooh.
And then after, that's why I was it's super close. Then it's Diamond Shields, Shea Petty, and then Taurasi. After that, we have 2 bench players who've each played a game. Are no longer on the team, and then Rashonda Gray and Megan and everyone else. So just wanted to kind of let y'all know, let's laugh and let's cry about that statistic. But that is the fun little note of the day. All right, y'all. Anything else before we go? There's been a fun little show. I mean, we've made more fun out of the current Mercury circumstances than I imagined we would. But taking us home. Any last shots?
I think just notable thing I noticed right before we hopped on, there was quite a few people who have been posting just kind of support videos for Brittany. I noticed Marta, Brianna Stewart's wife, and Courtney Vandersloot, Candace Dupree. They all made very distinct videos explaining that they had played overseas with her. And so obviously I think they're being used in trial just as kind of supporting evidence for a lesser sentence. Which means things are wrapping up. So hopefully we have an answer soon, and hopefully there's some good news coming BG's way and that she'll be home in the near future. So fingers crossed, all good vibes to her and her family. But yeah, absolutely. Other than that, go Merc.
Yeah, also just wanted to mention, obviously, it wouldn't be a women's basketball podcast without mentioning the unfortunate news of Paige Bueckers tearing her ACL. Just an incredible women's basketball player. I know she's going to have a very long career in the WNBA when she gets there. So, it's just unfortunate that she's going to miss the whole season, and we'll see what happens if she, declares for the WNBA after that. So sending our best wishes to Paige, and always, to BG, and wishing her a safe return home very soon.
Definitely. Excellent points, both of you. Appreciate y'all as always. The dream team here for Aaliyah, for Mallory, anyone listening. Appreciate y'all. I second everything that's been said here. BG getting back as safe as possible and as soon as possible. Obviously, Paige, strong WNBA entrance. I think that's probably the next step, but definitely a safe recovery. Also, speaking of, getting back into form, let's hope the Mercury gets some wins here. And that's all we got until next week. Go Mercury.